Hello, this is Clapbot321 and this is PHP and MySQL tutorial 11. This will be a continuation of tutorial 10 in which we started a basic blog. In this tutorial we will be going over compounding the SQL in the main blog page because you remember how we have the username here? Well, it's coming from a separate table from the users table and we're matching it with the ID that's given inside of a column in our post table right there. So what we want to do is have it so that instead of having two separate queries right here and right here, we want to create a complex and compound query that will get all the information we need but match everything. So first, we're not using as much server time in the execution. Secondly, we're not waiting for a second connection to the database. Third, we're not asking the database to get data several times in the way of having the same data pulled again and again. I mean, sure, there's catching inside the database, but this will be better because that way we do not have to wait for the connection to go through to the separate application. So we have the posts here and we have the users here. So I'm going to explain this concept first inside of the phpMyAdmin package. So we have the username here and it's an ID of what we're matching to the users right here, to this ID. So we want to grab the post name from this this row right here, and the only way we can do that is if we select that information along with the information right here. But we want to displace this information right here with the of course, the information from the other table. So what we need to do is first, this is the main table we're selecting from. So, but as we do not want the username anymore, we're only going to select the ID, title, content, and date. And those you have to list explicitly in the query in order to grab that. But we also want to add another column called post name. And that will be from the users table where I have my post name right here. So what I am going to do here, and I already have this query pre-made, and here is the query really big so you can see it. As you see, we have the post ID, the title, the content, and the date. But we thrown in another variable here, the post name from the users table. So if we tried that without all this other, not actual junk, but just these other two lines here, then what we would get is every single line combination between the two tables. Obviously, after things get big, that's not what you want. So what we are doing here is we're joining the users table with the post table. The users table and the post table. And we are joining it where the ID matches the username of everything together. So as you see, now these two can be switched, and it would actually make more sense if we switched them. But essentially, I am matching this username from here, not the username tag from right here. You need to make sure that you pay attention to the post part and the user part. These parts identify which table they are coming from. And this dot means that, okay, this is the parent of this, so I need to look through this parent and find this child and get the information there and match it to this parent and this child right here. So what I'm going to do here is that I am getting, again, the post name from the users table, and I'm joining it where my post username equals this ID. So if I have multiple users in here, which I don't, it would only select the row that has that user. Now there can be an issue when you do not have any user here that has an ID that is supposed to be matched to it. But I'm not going to venture into that and show what happens in that case. So again, we are ordering by the date, and so essentially you have select, you have from, and you have the order part that is the same as the original query right here that we have. So what we're doing here again is we are getting the information from posts and we're getting the information from the users table. So we're using an inner join. Now this is a bit complex, and this is how it works. And what I'm using here is to shorten the content here. I'm saying post ID as ID here because I only want, if I decide to use, if I decided to stick ID right here, it would only refer to the post ID. However, I will also, in the future of this tutorial here, I will make a mistake on purpose and point it out to you and also show you how to simply and in some ways effectively debug your SQL. So we have the ID and we have the post name and we have the date and all that cool stuff. So what we're going to do is make our first page here so that this part of the title, this part right here, is linked to a specific post. Just like how I can go here to my tutorial here, I can click on the title and it goes to the page that has the post and all the rest of the information with it. So like a real blog, we're going to make a single post page. So we're going to base this on the base part of our HTML here. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy, make a new file. I'm going to call it post.php. So now I'm just going to paste this in, and we need to, over here, we need to do that little trick there and echo out this certain part because it thinks that the short tags for PHP are being used when they're not. Okay, so now we should have a happy file here. We'll just cut out this extra post example here. And now if I decide to go to post.php, I will see dummy content. Now, it's important that we have this working, but we also need to work with joining the main blog page together with those post pages. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go to where my, not the author, but the title part is, and I'm going to replace these span tags with anchor tags. And the reason why I can do that is because anchor tags also are inline wraparounds, and they can also apply classes. Now, a span tag is pretty much the basic thing that just applies a CSS class. So now we have an A tag that has the same information, but it's not linked to anything yet. I just refreshed. I'm still refreshing. Nothing's changed yet. But we have yet to actually link it. So I'm going to make an href